where I will go over some basic JavaScript and web development. We'll start with an HTML file and a JavaScript file and work our way from there. So this is just a basic introduction. So first things first, we have Visual Studio Code, our code editor. I recommend getting it if you don't have it already. And we're also using an extension called Live Server. You go to the extension tab here and click on Live Server and install it. And what will basically happen is you will get this icon here, go live, which is handy because when we save and change our files, they get updated immediately. So let's create our HTML file, call it index.html. We can have a boilerplate file by just writing an exclamation mark and pressing enter. And we get our boilerplate HTML file. Save it and let's go live. And open this up a new tab, and we don't have anything in it yet, which makes sense, but let's add something to the body. So in the body, I'm going to add in a h1 tag, a header tag, and we will write in a classic hello world, save, and it gets rendered to the screen. Okay, so another thing I'm going to add in is a button, button tag, and we can just say on click, and we have our button here. Okay, next up, let's add in a JavaScript file, call it index.js. And we want to use our JavaScript logic inside this file here. So we're gonna link them up by adding in a script tag. And we have to reference our file. So the source will be the name of our file, which is index.js. Close it, save. And a good way to test if we're loading in our JS file is by right-clicking on the screen here in the browser and clicking on inspect and going to the console. And then here we can console.log and we add in a string, which is just some text. And we can say hello, save, and we see it printed out here in the console, which means that JavaScript is being loaded in. So I want to start out by manipulating this text here, hello world. So we can do that by getting this element, this tag in our JS file. To do that, we write in the document. Is this referring to this document here? Dot query selector, which is just looking for the tag we put in here, and we put in the h1 tag. So now we have a reference to this tag here. We can test if this worked by storing our reference here in a variable. So I'm going to write const the name of our variable, which will be header, and assign this here to the variable header. We can console log the header, and we see we get the h1 element here. We can see what was the current text of this tag here. writing in dot inner text. We get hello world printed. Okay, so we can add in some functionality by clicking on this button. So one way of doing it is writing a function. So we'll have a function. We'll call it handle on click and add in the brackets. So our goal is to call this function when the button is clicked. And the same thing we've been doing is just console dot logging something out just to test if we're calling this function. So on click. Obviously, it will not be called when we click here. We need to add it into the HTML file. So on the button tag, we need to add an on click and write in the function just created. So handle on click. We click the button and we get an on click logged here. That's because the function was executed and it went through the console log. Okay, very good. So I recommend pausing the video here and creating the function and logging out. I on click. Okay, I hope you tried it out. No worries if it didn't work. You can just copy it right here. So let's start manipulating the HTML. So let's change the text when we click on the button. We can do that by using our variable that dot inner text, what we logged earlier, and we can assign it some new value. So let's assign it a string. That's just gonna say button was click. Okay, click here, and we see that this was updated. Excellent. Another thing we can do, we can have even more complex functionality, I guess. We can prompt or ask the user what something they can add in. So we can create or add in here a prompt. So we write window dot prompt. And what will we ask? We will ask what is your name? Save. And now when we click, we get this prompt and they ask for our name. Okay, but obviously we can't use the information because we're not storing it. To store it, we will have to create a variable. So I'm gonna create a variable using the let keyword, just because in the future we're gonna add some logic to check if something was added in or not. So by using the let, you can assign a new value to the variable. If you use a const, you can't. It's consistent. So we have let, and we can say user input is the name of our variable, and it's going to be this here. And just to see what we get here, we can use our console log. Let's use this one. So console log and the variable user input. We click the button, the user input, what's your name? My name is Victor, and we get it logged here in the console. Very, very good. Okay, so let's use this this information we get there, and we can greet the user in the h1 tag, the header. So we can change this by saying hello space, and a very simple way of doing it is just plus the user input. This will create a string which will be just hello, and the user input, which is my name, like this. So let's test it out. Hello, Victor. Let's go. Okay. So I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna ask you to try this out using the input and greeting the user. So I'm just gonna delete this and yeah, test this out. And let's add something more in. Okay, I hope you tested this out. I know of a bug that we can fix very easily, and we can use like an if statement or conditional. So you can see here if the user puts nothing in, press OK, we just get an hello. So my idea is we have some check. If nothing was added in, we can display hello user, for example. So inside this function here, we can add an if statement. So we can add it in here if user input is and we write to check it triple equals. The first equal would be just assigning something to this variable. We don't want to do that. This would be a shallow comparison. So, but a best practice and best way to check it is writing it 3 times, and we check if we have nothing, an empty string. We have then this block inside the curly brackets, and we can say that if nothing was added in, we can assign user input the value of user. Okay, now we go here, don't put anything in, and we get just hello user. Okay, I think that's good for now. I recommend pausing and trying to do this on your own. And if you run into some troubles, then just go back and watch it again. Thank you. This was a fairly simple introduction, and I hope you gained some knowledge from it.